Blessed be y'all is the first episode of the Witching Hour podcast done by me, Nekora, and my best friend, North. Say hi.
Woo! Hi!
We are literally a couple of witches who just want to talk about the supernatural, about witchy things, about gaming, about anything that comes to our minds. And it'll be like a little sporadic podcast whenever both of us feel up to doing it. Maybe every Wednesday, maybe a little sporadic, popping up Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, who cares? Just whenever we feel like it.
Depends on when the witchy feeling gets strong.
Exactly. Or if one of us has played something awesome, like she plays Sims 4, I play Pokemon games, whenever something good pops up, and we want to talk about it.
Sometime this summer, I might start doing let's plays, not role plays. Good gosh, I'm not doing role plays ever again. That was 2016.
Oh, girl. Ugh. So I had to get some tea right there because that laughing at the beginning of the thing made my mouth all dry.
I got my iced coffee because us New Englanders, we can't go a damn day without iced coffee.
And here in Kentucky, I've got tea because even though we are literally in the middle of the United States, we're literally called mid-carters. We don't care if our tea is sweet or unsweet. We just drink the damn thing.
Meanwhile, I literally live in the north of America, so we don't give two toots about tea.
Toot toot.
I mean, have you not heard about the Boston Tea Party? That was probably the biggest one yet.
Yeah, it's called, I've been in social studies class for 12 years and it bore the crap out of me.
I think that was, honestly, I went to Boston myself, and that place was pretty damn cool. Just seeing that they have actual reenactments where they take you like tours and whatnot, and you can actually draw.
Oh, boy. I think Discord may be a little bit glitchy on us because it's like cut in and out of our calls and stuff.
Nice.
Ouch. Anyway, today's episode is actually going to be about the supernatural in both our home states. She's from Maine, I'm from Kentucky, so have at it.
And by the way, none of the stuff that happens in Maine, like the actual legends, are not Stephen King related. Just to clear things up. He's a good author, but just all of this stuff is this actually happened. So clear things up before we go in.
Yeah, there's actually been a bunch of supernatural things around Kentucky about there's unsolved mysteries, there's spirits that pop up, there's different legends and stuff around all of Kentucky and all of Maine. But the first one here is about Liberty Hall. It says here that John Brown was one of Kentucky's first senators, and in 1796 he built a family home in Frankfort. Many people have and died in the home from relatives. Today there are said to be three primary spirits that exist in a state of unrest. The first, most famous, is aka the Gray Lady, intended only to succumb to a heart attack after her journey. Initially buried in the garden, rumors say that her body was later moved. Now her restless spirit is said to wander the grounds, opening doors, closing doors, and is always wearing gray. A Spanish opera performer visited and disappeared mysteriously from the mansion in 1805. His spirit is also said to roam the property, along with a figure wearing a soldier's uniform. The young lad is reported to gaze into a ground-level window with a forlorn, love-struck expression. Methinks he had a crush on somebody in the building, or his wife was in there. He died, she died, and he's like, I can never go back in the house, otherwise she'll know I died.
Oh, I mean, she's apparently looking into the window being like, oh, hubby.
Oh, lordy, I mean...
It kinda reminds me of a local legend we have here in my hometown, which is for the sake of privacy reasons, I'm gonna call it Beantown, which is one of the nicknames we have for it.
Mhm.
There was a in one of it actually takes place in McDonald's here. We have a haunted McDonald's, people. Apparently a wife of a sea captain lived there long ago, back when clipper ships were a thing, back in the 1800s, 1700s, so way back before Twitter was a thing. It apparently while her husband was away at sea, she apparently passed away, and now her spirit haunts the whole house. Apparently McDonald's, the company, wanted to tear it down, but the town fought back and eventually kept the building standing. And apparently one night, she doesn't really bother people unless you really want to really strike her poocher the wrong way, I suppose. And apparently an employee there one night was making fun of her after one of his coworkers was telling him, like, oh yeah, apparently she haunts this place and whatnot. And the kid he was a punk, let's just say that. He apparently was like, she ain't gonna bother me, she's an old prissy or whatever. And eventually, one of the paintings on the wall, which they were like the size of a plasma TV, the paintings in there. I take pictures, but I'm sure the employees would be like, what the hell are you doing? And apparently one of those paintings, which were nailed to the wall, it flew off the wall and hit him in the back of the head and fell onto the floor. So, he's scared now.
Yikes. Nothing like that's ever happened here, even though we've had, like, places in town that had paintings falling down for random reasons, quilts falling off the wall, just random shenanigans like that. I mean, there was once this time I went down to the riverfront here in Paducah, and I was just sitting there waiting for my friend to come back from the house because he dropped me off for a therapy appointment. I decided to come down to the riverfront, just relax while he was making tea, and then come down to get me. There was actually this weird woman that would walk across the water side, and she would do the weirdest thing. She would actually walk into the middle of the water as it was lapping up on her, sit down, and start screaming. And now, for some reason, no one else could hear her, but I would watch this woman, and she would scream like a little banshee, like a little baby bird. And I'd go, "Are you okay, ma'am? Are you alright?" And she wouldn't hear me, but eventually she just turned her head and looked at me, and as soon as my friend got me, I said, "You see that woman down there?" He goes, "What woman?" And he looks down, and the woman's gone. Turns out that there was the spirit of a woman that had drowned in the Ohio River.
Oof.
Yeah, big oof. See,
That reminds me of another story, a very famous legend of the state.
yeah.
Apparently, it's known as the Saco River Curse, and this was way back in the day, back when the settlers were settling in Maine, along the Saco River. Apparently now the Saco River is very popular for kayaking, whitewater rafting, canoeing, all that fine and dandy outdoorsy stuff. Apparently, back in the day, the local Native American tribe, or indigenous, I suppose, that local tribe, known as the Sokokas, which later became I believe, the Abenaki, they apparently, like the wife of the chief was paddling herself down the river with her one of her young babies with her, and she was also pregnant. So she was just, going for a ride. And apparently a boat full of drunk settlers back in the 1600s. They apparently saw her, and apparently they dared one and each other to try to see if the myth about how indigenous babies, if they could paddle after birth and whatnot, like dog paddle, like out of the mother and whatnot. I don't know, some stupid folklore. They went up and they actually threw the baby into the river, which caused the baby to drown. The mother ran, like.
I apologize for any cutting in and out. As I said, Discord's being a butt.
Settlers and whatnot. He was pissed, and he actually called upon the river spirits to curse the river, to kill, I think, like 2 men a year until all white men fled the banks. Still happening today.
That's insane. I mean, we've got some weird crap when it comes to that here in Kentucky, from what I've heard. But yeesh, I've never heard of anything being that crazy bonkers. What the hell going on here?
It happened in Maine.
Oh boy.
I feel like that's a quote or something, like, it happened in Maine, this crazy shit happened
That ought not be a bumper sticker.
Oh, hi. This is a bit... I mean, I remember I told you about the postcard that we have up to my camp in the mountains, but that one kind of had a "it happened in Maine" moment. Yeah, it was I think it was a bull humping doing the naughty with a horse, so,
Oh, lordy.
Welcome to Maine, where weird shit happens.
Alright, here's another one here for Kentucky. The Kentucky State Penitentiary up in Eddyville is actually one of the most haunted prisons in the United States. According to the story here, most of us never want to see the inside of the Kentucky State Penitentiary at 266 Water Street, but the structure itself is phenomenal. It is the oldest prison in the state, built in 1886, and the architecture is not only solid, but it is also a work of art. This intricately designed building was made to hold prisoners, but many a spirit has also made their home here. Due to its age, one can only imagine the horrific conditions, treatment, and executions that took place within these walls. Modern inmates and guards alike tell tales of strange orbs, footsteps when no one is there, voices, disembodied screams, and other hair-raising experiences. Just because a prisoner's body dies here doesn't mean the soul rests. Well, that's true, because think about it. After a lethal injection, a gas chamber, electrocution, your body's basically dead, but your soul's basically linked there because that's where you died. And it's going to be
Your physical form's gone, but your soul is still there, wondering what the frick happened.
Yeah, your soul's going to be hanging out there going, do I smell barbecue? And then it looks down at its charred self from the electric chair and goes, ah, dang it.
Or look down and be like, huh, that's a problem, isn't it?
Or they look down at their body after, like, being gassed, because I think a couple states still use gas chambers in execution, and they'll go, what smells like rotten eggs mixed with someone's farts? And then they look down and go, well, damn, did I have a breakfast burrito and got trapped in here, or did someone basically gas me, and my body went...
It probably actually did do that, just a...
Well...
Well, I know something probably escaped him.
Yeah, because you know when they say when you suddenly die, you crap your pants?
Apparently when you pass away, you defecate yourself.
Yeah, because basically when you die, you have no control over your bowels.
When you die, you have no control over anything.
Yeah, pretty much. Just wow.
I'll give it an A. I like him. Yeah.
Oops. Sorry, I hit something on my phone on accident. Well, anyway, there's also like the Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky.
Oh, that place is quite famous after Ghost Adventures, aren't they?
Oh yeah, and it was built in the early 1900s, and apparently it's one of the most is literally like one of the most talked about places here in Kentucky because think about it, there's gonna be like ghosts of escaped deranged nutcases. Like absolute out of your mind, mother flipping pancakes, insane.
Ghosts.
What?
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 Are we having problems?
Yeah, we're having fun here. I just.
I think we probably have like a hiccup or something.
You're telling me.
But yeah, I did hear that it's pretty dastardly over at the Waverly Hills place.
Yeah, I mean, Waverly Hills. People have been talking about it for years, even after I was born, and just the mysteries behind this place are just phenomenal. Because you could walk through the place and you could hear just random giggling, random noises like chairs being moved, and the screams of patients, and all that in the halls from all the years that people have been in there and have either died there or whatnot. Because think about it, it's a sanatorium. That's another word for mental hospital. It's another place for people to go when other people think they're absolutely batshit crazy.
It's another name for the loony band.
Okay, even those unfamiliar with Waverly Hill's twisted past can agree that the ominous structure looks creepy, even from a distance. The Gothic structure was built in the early 1900s as a tuberculosis hospital, and then later a mental hospital, and then a geriatric center. The death count here was so high that patients were delivered for burial and disposal through a tunnel system deemed the death tunnel. This was done to prevent panic among the residents. And it wasn't just the ill who lost their lives at Waverly. A nurse is known to have hung herself in the bell tower, and her spirit is said to wander the halls of Waverly along with many patients. People who take footage or photos at Waverly often later find floating orbs and distortions in the images. And this place has been on TV like Scariest Places on Earth, Paranormal Project, Paranormal Challenge, Creepy Most Haunted, no, Zone is Creepy Most Haunted, Ghost Hunters, etc. Just if I were to walk through there right now, I would need a pair of adult diapers because I'd probably be pissing myself.
If I were to walk through there, I'd need a fucking white candle and some salt.
Honey, we would need some salt, some sage, a white candle, and at least not drink anything before we'd walk in.
I mean, if anything, that place is already on its last legs. So.
Yep, I mean...
On a much lighter note, we actually have a bit of a trickster spirit in Portland.
Yeah?
Yeah, apparently she... I don't know how she died, but apparently her spirit resides in the time and temperature building, where you get, you guessed it, time and temperature. And apparently she messes with the elevators, making you get off when you weren't supposed to, so yeah, she's having fun.
Wow.
And also we have ghost pirates in the waters.
Really?
Oh yeah, we have plenty of, I haven't heard many rumors myself, but apparently they're existing in the Casco Bay Islands.
Wow.
Besides Casco Bay, there's actually a lot of legends about the infamous Dash, which actually is a ghost ship. It was a clipper ship back in the day, and that was actually, I think it was built actually in my hometown of Beantown.
Wow.
And apparently, one day during a pretty dastardly storm out to sea, it vanished, never to be seen again. Unless you can, like, if it's a very foggy day on the water, you can sometimes see it, and on the ship, you can see people, like, the deceased, going. It's apparently known as, like, a ferry between the afterlife and the present world.
Wow. I mean, we've actually had some towboats and stuff, like, go under after maybe an engine failure or be beached because of some sort of weird error like that. But over the years, we've actually got a waterways museum over at Maiden Alley Cinema, and talks about like stuff they pulled up from the Ohio River, the wreckage, some about a whole bunch of stuff actually about workers and all that. There have been people who've jumped ship from some kind of weird reason. Either they lost their minds, the captain was being a total jerk, they were panicking for some reason, and some people have actually died in the river due to that. But you also got to think the Ohio River connects to different waterways around the United States, and I actually have an ex stepbrother that is a towboat captain, and he would go from here in Paducah all the way around to like Louisiana, to Maine, to Florida, depending on where his route would take him. And there have been stories that would circulate, and he doesn't believe in any of this. However, I do, and I would look it up and it'd be like, okay, either this is weirdly real or weirdly fake, I don't know. But there have just been a lot of shenanigans involving the river here in town, and trust me, there's not only been dead bodies, there's also been a lot of cell phones thrown in there.
Well then.
Well, it's because some people would get like really mad and go over to like the Brookport Bridge, and they would stand there, or they'd get out of the car suddenly, take their phone, chuck it in the water, go back, go to the store, get a new phone, say, I got mad at my old one, I tossed it in the Ohio River, can you give me a new phone? And they'd either A, give them a new phone, or B, say, you're crazy, you threw your phone in the water, it's got extreme water damage, sure, I'll give you a phone, but please don't throw it in the river this time, we got enough mercury going on here.
Sounds like you're trying to get some free discount on some insurance.
I don't know about that. I actually had a friend a long time ago. We've kind of drifted apart now. His mom would actually drive over to the Brookport Bridge after she'd get mad at her phone for some weird shenanigans reason, maybe an ex-boyfriend or phone wouldn't work. She'd drive over there, toss it in the water, drive back to town, get a new one, buy it, activate it, and then repeat said process.
What's she trying to do? Blow some bucks or something? What's going on?
I don't know. There's some shenanigans going on in the past. I don't know.
Meanwhile, some water spirit is just using that phone to call up her friends, being like, "Oh, hey, I got a new phone."
Well, in that case, we'd have like river spirits that'd probably swim up to them and go, "Oh, hey, a Samsung Galaxy S5," and they'd try to turn it on and go, "Ah, dang it, water damage."
Or they'd, just play telephone with it. Just be like, "Hello, Mom?"
It's funny, every time my friend's phone rings, I always go, ring, 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 banana phone, doo, 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 doo.
Yeah, but on a spookier subject, apparently, from what I recently heard, I recently learned about this place from a book that I have in my bedroom. Apparently, way, way up north, near Fort Kent in Maine, which is by the Canadian border, there's a there was a settlement known as the Violet Settlement, but
Yeah?
it's apparently dubbed a Violent Violet. Because apparently there was a boy there that was being abused and being worked to hell by his father, and the boy was all like, damn it, I hate my father so much, I wish I had the power of Satan or something to help me get through this. And apparently, they say that the devil actually possessed him and worked him to death. And now apparently that boy's spirit was locked up inside a schoolhouse where the father would barge around outside trying to get to him, but the boy was just inside and such. You know, fun times up in Violet.
Yeah, pretty much. There's actually been a lot of stories around town about stuff like that, and just most of it is either stuff made up for attention or stuff that's actually been real. And around Halloween, we have a cemetery walk, and some people have actually seen the ghosts fly around in their orb form and scare off some people, because some people around here have the bladder retention of a mouse, and they would easily pee themselves and run out screaming, or they'd stand there and go, huh, neat.
Oh, we don't really, have a lot of spirits around here that do orb forms or whatnot. Usually, I mean, if anything, like, the cemeteries are usually very unsettling. Like, I remember going through a few old ones myself, way up in the mountains in Franklin County, which is in the mountains. And I would always get an uneasy feeling going through them. Because you never know if you're walking over someone's face or if you're stepping on an unnamed grave.
Well, it's like what they say, you're never supposed to walk over someone's grave lest they haunt you. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff around here, a lot of disrespectful people just walking on graves like willy-nilly and not really being respectful to them, and next thing you know, they're being haunted by whoever they stepped on.
Probably explains why I'm haunted. Why, I mean, if I'm at least respectful, because, I mean, wouldn't you be pissed off if someone walked on your face while you were...
I'd be highly pissed off. I mean, if I was just laying there, I'd be going, "Hey, buddy, you just walked on my face," and then go, "You ignore me now? Oh hell no, I'm done with you. I'm gonna be haunting you until you apologize."
You just walk over their own face and you're like, how do you like it? How do you like it? How do you like it? How do you freaking like it?
Exactly. I mean, in real life, I don't like being walked over or stepped on or whatever, unless you're trying to pop my back. But if you're some sort of spirit, ghost, whatever, and you get walked on, you're gonna be like, "Hey, buddy, watch where you're going."
It's like the spirit from McDonald's, who actually, her name is it's kind of a funny coincidence when you think about it. Her name, everyone called her Mrs. Gore.
Mrs. Gore.
Gore.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like, oh yeah, Mrs. Gore haunts this place. Yeah, I mean, just, you probably want to respect her.
Well, what's funny is where I'm staying now, right here, my permanent residence here, there are two spirits, and one of them is the grandmother to Butthole McGee up front, and the other one's actually the mother of my friend Bill. And I've been able to talk to both of them, but the thing is, to find out who's who, you gotta listen for someone saying "damn" all the time, and turns out that's the grandmother. And she'll be floating around here saying, "Damn it, what's going on here? Damn it, Josh, calm yourself down. Damn it, Bill, go sit down and have you a cup of coffee."
Wow, she sounds like my aunt.
And then the mother, which is Bill's mama, she's the sweet one, even though she's got a major attitude on her. And she'd really be hooping and hollering, because there was one time I was over at my altar, I was lighting candles, I was going to do a little ritual to cleanse my ring, the one I wear everywhere I go. And all of a sudden, I say, damn it, because I accidentally burned my arm. I still have the mark on my arm where the cherry of it hit me. I think it's kind of turned into like a little mole or something now. It's like somewhat there, still there. It's like a little freckle now. And now all of a sudden, I hear, damn it! And I go, okay, whoever than me is in this room, and I feel this chill. Turns out it was the mama, and she had accidentally knocked into something, which is why some of my stuffed animals were on the floor and not on my bed.
Well, you know, as a spirit, you don't expect to glide around gracefully. There are some boundaries.
Exactly. I mean, and she's never really left the house because since they both died here, their spirits are kind of bound to it. And let's see. Speaking of cemeteries, Cave Hill Cemetery is the resting place of many famed Kentuckians, including the Frito-Lay magician, Colonel Harlan Sanders, and most recently Muhammad Ali. It is located at 701 Baxter Avenue in Louisville and was built back in the 1800s. The grounds were designed in the peak of the Victorian era to be a garden-style resting place for the deceased upper class and soldiers. It is not uncommon in modern times to hear unexplained sounds and footsteps in the cemetery. There are also a variety of orbs and unexplained lights that appear at night and on film. Ornate tombstones and statues stand guard over the bones, where the spirits are still said to wander. Those who have entered the cemetery at night deem it a hub of paranormal activity. Yeesh, and it's a good thing Markiplier changed his icon back from the CGI Sanders back to him, because that was creepy AF.
Yeah, honestly, the most haunting thing is probably that CGI Sanders thing.
Yeah, I don't know
honestly, even from up here, I could feel... what was his real name? Holland or something? Harland?
It's Harland.
Sanders. Huh?
It's Harland.
Oh wow, the same name as my uncle. No, I could practically feel him rolling over in his grave once the KFC executives were like, now we gotta make something to appeal to the kids. Well, there's one guy that apparently is really popular. He's got like 20 million followers on the YouTubes. Perfect. Let's do it. Find his face, copy it, make it CGI, make him perfectly hipster, make him match to appeal to kids. Now we got money.
Yeah, but that commercial with the walking bottle of Mrs. Butterworth syrup, that will forever haunt me because I do not want a living syrup bottle and a weird CGI version of Colonel Sanders walking around doing some sort of dirty dancing like thing on my screen.
Colonel Sanders is supposed to be a kindly old gentleman, not some frickin' Chippendale guy from the 20s.
Well, speaking of Chippendales, there's actually been a commercial called Chickendales where he was a Chippendales dancer.
Send me to the early grave now.
I actually cringed at it because I'm like, okay, you got a bunch of hot guys here. 7 of them are actually gay, which is true because I looked it up. Because on my Twitter there was an article about one of the Chickendales dancers actually being a gay porn star, and
what?
he actually just was like a little Chippendale dancer for this thing, and along with like 4 other guys. Sorry, I got like Raz's new video over here on my phone. And I look at this and I'm going, okay, y'all have gone a little too far. I don't like this. Please, I don't want Chippendale dancers on my screen unless I'm actually watching like Magic Mike.
I don't want to be any part of this new Kentucky Fried Chicken craze. I don't want to be associated with them. I'm gonna move.
Well, I'll still eat KFC, but I'd rather not look at the Colonel and just think about those commercials, because
I'd rather just look at the Colonel and think of a kindly old man giving me a good meal, not some frickin' hipster dude dressed up as a Colonel trying to seduce me with a good meal. No, Thank
If anything, I would rather go there for their new Cinnabon thingies, their little cinnamon biscuit whatchamajoohickeys, and maybe like one of their 5-piece meals or whatever. But then, if I were to see that, I'd go, okay, here's your money. Can I have my food now? I'd rather go home. I don't want to see this crap.
Anyways, I think we're getting off topic. I think this could be just a whole other discussion on ourselves.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about that on Twitter, because that there was like, what the butt.
That right there was like, I am immensely uncomfortable.
Same, and it's crazy. I live in Kentucky, and even I'm ashamed of it.
I haven't even set foot in Kentucky, and I'm like, just sitting here, I'm like, I don't even know if I want to go see Nekora.
Well, Paducah's pretty chill. We don't do any of those shenanigans. I mean...
Well, you don't have 70-year-old guys walking up and down the street looking like Chippendales?
No, not unless they're coming out of, Silent Brigade Brewery after 3 a.m. in the morning, after a huge night of drinking and partying and being absolute idiots.
Sounds like something you'd hear in the old port.
Well, what's funny is I've actually been downtown around 3 in the morning because my friend Josh, or should I say Asshole McGee at times, actually likes to play Pokemon Go around that time because there's hardly anyone out on the street. I've seen some weird, spooky shenanigans going around, like when we had those major flooding events and we had the flood walls up, the water would actually pour in from the sides, and from a distance I would see like construction workers trying to, you know, keep it all in a safe distance. Then we'd get up close and it would vanish. And I'm going, okay, did someone die here and the spirit's linked here? But as soon as we go back around, because he likes going around and around and around and around just to do Pokestops over and over till his bag is full, we'd constantly see that spirit pop up, and he wouldn't see it, but I would, and I'd go, okay, this is some crazy shenanigans.
I don't think I've ever seen like a spirit in person before.
Well, it depends on where you're going. I mean, abandoned buildings may have them, abandoned schools may have them. You may see them after midnight whenever you're just going to the store for some random crappy thing or whatever, and you may never know. I mean, you may talk to them and then next minute they vanish.
Well, scratch that. I actually remember on some late nights when I was sitting here working on my computer and stuff, I would always see the figure of someone standing in my hallway. My hallway is on my left, and my door is usually open so my cat can come on in.
Mm-hmm.
But I always see a guy standing there holding something, dressed in deep dark denim jeans and a flannel shirt. I could never see from the chin up. So and would also wear suspenders, and my parents speculated it may have been my grandfather who lived in the house I'm in now.
Possible. I mean, a long time before it was torn down, my old house, which was a cross between a gun shop and an actual house, my grandfather passed away, but his spirit was mostly linked to the house because we had the reloading room, most of the stuff was there, and when my grandmother got his ashes one day, and I kid you not, she brought me back to my mom's house. She went back to her place. She sat down, put the ashes in his favorite chair. The light to the reloading room was on, and she'd sit down and watch TV, and all of a sudden, she looked over, and the light was off. The reloading room light was off, and she thought maybe his spirit may have come back and turned the light off. And she told me this when she came to pick me up after school one day, and I didn't believe it until I actually saw it for myself.
Well, at least your grandfather's trying to help you save the building.
Well, now the place is gone. It was like filled with mold and it was worn down. And my grandma moved to the country where my aunt was. Like one of my actual good aunts And she actually died of kidney failure there. So her spirit is linked to the old farmhouse. And the last time I was there, I actually heard her say, "Well, I could see you grown up into a fine young woman. I hope we meet again someday." And what's funny was she was homophobic, but when she was on her deathbed, I came out to her as bisexual, panromantic, came out to her as a witch, as a Wiccan, and I had her hand in my hand, and with one little squeeze, she told me more or less that she accepted me, that she would leave this earth with no regrets, that she would finally just be at peace with everything, and next day, she was gone. So her spirit's linked to that house.
Kind of reminds me of my aunt's house. She lives over in Yarmouth, in North Yarmouth, where my mother grew up. She, you know, I have no idea what that was, but I remember going to her house all the time, and I would always be up in the upstairs, where we would usually where I would usually run around as my mother talked with her, and I used to draw a lot. But there was one thing about that upstairs that I did not like. Even as an adult, I still don't like. It's the hallway. Usually there's a little night light in there that's usually lit up and whatnot. But usually whenever the night light's off, my body immediately stopped from going down there, and I would usually have to have like an adult come with me if I needed to use the bathroom. And apparently the reason is because at the end of that hallway is another room where apparently my cousin stayed in. Apparently in that room he would see eyes in the closet whenever it was nighttime. And apparently in that same room a relative of ours passed away way back in the day.
What's funny is the room I'm staying in, both the grandmother and the mama both died in here.
And now a witch stays there, so.
Yeah, and I talk to them quite often whenever I'm talking to my mom, and I can talk to all three of them at the same time, and they'd all be chattering, and I'm going, okay, I'm trying to record something, and y'all quiet down. Well, I'm not kidding. It's like one time I was sitting here, I was going through an emotional breakdown. My mom, it was Mother's Day last year, actually, and I was recording something, and all of a sudden I heard, "Well, damn, what are you doing now?" And I'm going, "Okay, can you not? I'm recording something here. Could you please be courteous?" She went, "I don't give a damn. Just tell me what you're doing. Just want to know. I'm a little bit curious." And I'm going, "I'm recording something for Mother's Day. Could you please let me grieve in peace?" And she goes, "I don't give a damn." And then I said, "If you don't stop, I will officially just throw salt everywhere and just make you stay away." She goes, "Well, fine. I'm going to go talk to Josh for a little bit." And then she just flew off.
Just a naggy spirit?
Yeah, she was a naggy grandmother. Like, she was protective. She was a family woman, but she was more like, "I'm always curious. I'm just wondering what you're doing. I'm wondering if you're okay." And yeah. In other words, just a straight up granny.
Well, in another place that I attracted to is probably way up in Bucksport, which that place actually has two reportedly haunted places. But I'll give this one first because when I went there the second time, I actually saw a spirit. It's known as Fort Knox.
Which is ironic because Fort Knox is actually a place here in Kentucky.
And we have a place here that was an actual fort on the Penobscot River. It actually served, I think, as a Civil War fort back, or I think it was, no, it wasn't Civil War. I think it was served back in this French Indian War. I'm not sure, but they've, that place has, I think it's seen a few battles, so, but yet you can still go inside it. I probably, if I ever go up there, I'm probably gonna take my camera and record some footage. But apparently that place is reportedly haunted because in the gangways or in the alleyways where we're going between like one area and the other, some people like see things or feel someone behind them or something or walking alongside them. My mother actually, she stated that she felt a trench coat brush across her legs.
Whoa.
And I remember I was standing in one of the rooms where cannons were usually held, and I felt like someone was watching me. I turned around, and for a fraction of a second, I saw a face in front of me that disappeared. It was the face of a young man, probably about 30, late 20s or 30s, who was dressed in like a bit of a military uniform. So yeah, that place is very well known for being haunted, but it's also well known for being a very sound fort. And the other place in Bucksport was a grave of the founder of Bucksport, John Buck, I think that's his name. He apparently judged a witch he tried a witch and sentenced her to death. And I think as she was about to be hung, she cursed him and said, "I will dance on your grave when you finally die." And when he died, after she died, he apparently on his grave, there's actually photos online of what looks like a witch's boot on his grave. You can't wash it off, it's hard to wash off, it's completely stained onto the grave itself, so.
That's bonkers.
That's why I don't frick around with witches.
And yet we are witches.
All I can say is just that.
So this is why you should never disrespect the witch, the bruja, the elder, any of that. Otherwise, you're gonna get your butt whooped.
I kinda gonna get you.
Well, actually, there's a thing that's going on here, and it's a pretty neat story. Turns out, see, there's this place called Whitehaven, and it's a really, really pretty place. I've shown photos of it to you through Twitter, and just I love being near it. It's actually a very popular Pokestop because it's got like 2 different Pokestops in the same area. But there's actually a tale there that I love telling everybody who asks. And it turns out it used to be a Confederate war house way back then when it was North versus South and all that crap. There was this woman that was a general's wife, and she would wait for him at the balcony for days and days and days. And one day she got really, really bad sick. And it turns out it was appendicitis. So when she was just leaning on the bed on the balcony one day, the nurse would tell her, "Miss, you need to come back. You're not well. You need to rest." While they're waiting for like a surgeon to come fix her up, but she wouldn't budge. And then all of a sudden, her appendix ruptured and she died right there of sepsis. And now, whenever the moon is full and it's positioned perfectly above Whitehaven, you will see the spirit of the wife standing there waiting for her husband to return from the war. And it's been a very popular legend around town.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I've seen the spirit quite a few times, and it'd be whenever me and my friend Bill are going to, maybe a liquor store to get him some wine, or we'd be going to Banks Market for a late night snack run, or whatever, and the moon would be full and would position like perpendicular, and I'd see a faint woman just standing out there in like a beautiful old-timey dressing gown, staring out over the horizon like, when are you going to return? And I'm going, who is that woman? Until I remembered the story from way back then when I was in high school, and it was Halloween, and we were learning about the different spirits around West Kentucky, and that was one of them.
That's kind of enchanting.
Yep. But you want to know something really creepy, though?
What's
I,
that?
I was in Illinois last year for my birthday. My friend Ethan came and got me, and we went up to Rockford, Illinois, and we went and did the 80s party, and then the next day, he took me out for breakfast. It was the day I was going to go home, but he took me and showed me around Rockford, and turns out there was some weird cult-like shenanigans going on there a long time ago, like years and years and years ago, before me and him were even born. There was this cult. I can't remember the name of it though. It was over this like trestle for trains and stuff. We'd go under, and we actually had to stop because I was feeling cold all over, and I could see everything that happened. This cult would actually do human sacrifice to appease some sort of demon, like they were doing satanic rituals. And when I put my hand on one of the uh, giant wood beams, I put my hand on it, and I could feel the blood underneath my fingertips. I could hear the cries of the children as they were dangling and being sacrificed, and they're screaming. Oh my god, it actually scared the crap out of me. I'm going, okay, I could hear everything. I saw everything in my mind here. Can we please just move on? I am ready to go. I got back in the car, and to this day, I will actually have moments where it will come back to me, just hearing everything would happen. And I even saw the cult leader. He would wear this long black robe. He had markings all over him. He'd have big old container of blood as a sacrifice. And I actually was super close to throw up.
I thought you were gonna say something about a white robe and white hood, and I'm like, Ku Klux Klan?
Nope, that is like, no, hell no.
Funny how we actually, if anything, probably the woods is probably the creepiest place in Maine. Like, most of Maine is very undeveloped. Probably our biggest and most populated city is Portland, which I'm not far from.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there many times. And, like, if you go way up north into the county, aka Aroostook, which is where Violet is, and Fort Kent and all that place, I'm just going through, like, it's a whole other world. Like, you can feel the strange energy from it. Not much down here in southern Maine, but as far north as you can go, like, there's a lot of deep woods where pretty much it feels so otherworldly. It's very unsettling.
Yeah, there's been some unsettling stuff around anywhere you go. I mean, no matter where you go, you're always going to find some sort of weird supernatural shenanigans, whether it's from cults, from weird sickos to murders to anything. And just no matter where you go, you're going to find something that's going to be out of the ordinary.
I kind of remember being, I remember hearing a song, actually, telling about a very famous road up here this song is called Tombstone Every Mile. My parents always listened to it a lot, my dad especially. And apparently it talks about Haynesville Road, where a lot of convoys and a lot of 18-wheelers actually go off the road because it's so winding and dangerous. So apparently there's rumors that there's a tombstone every mile, so who the
Yeah.
hell knows how many spirits are there.
Yeah, just weird random crap will happen no matter where you go. Like, I've actually got some family in Alabama. I really don't like talking about Alabama due to current shenanigans, but there's actually this one strip of road that goes up in the mountains, and whenever we go up it, whenever we went up it, I would always be just entranced by how far we're up in the cloud area. But then we'd hear something about someone ran off the road here, someone crashed their car, and I'd be going, nope.
Yeah, that's kind of like how Maine is a little bit. There's a lot, I mean, as beautiful as Maine is, there's definitely a lot of areas where you have to be very careful because sometimes when you're riding around along the coastline, you never know when there might be a unstable cliff edge that you might end up, saying goodbye to the world because down below there's a reason why they call it Rocky Coast of Maine because there's a lot of sheer rock faces. I think Maine actually has the most lighthouses out of any state.
Yeah, here in Paducah, we mainly have like towboating and fishing, pontooning, going on over on the sandbar and relaxing, summer festivals and whatnot. But what's weird is during the oh, what is it? The barbecue on the river. During that time, we would never have really any supernatural stuff going on, but there was one time I went down there and there was absolutely no wind going on, but for some reason my skirt kept moving a bunch and I was just standing there. And it wasn't people either.
What, some perverted ghost?
Either that or someone just walking by me.
Well, I can definitely say that there's another place that I've been to. Hang on, let me find it. I've got it right here. I had to look it up while we were talking. It's known as the 1963 B-52 crash on Elephant Mountain, which is in Greenville, Maine.
Wow.
It's pretty damn dastardly, if anything. I remember going there as a kid, and we would walk up the trail. It's not too far of a hike. It's like 1-2 miles. And as soon as you saw metal, you were walking on glass. It was completely shattered. The whole plane was like strewn all across the mountain. And pretty much everyone died except for one guy, I think.
Yeesh.
And it was during the winter too, so...
Now, what I'm about to say to you is pretty crazy, and it actually happened pretty recently. My friend Bill, he actually had, I think it was a relative, and a lot,
I'll
not.
send you the link to the site.
All right. Well, anyway, he had a bit of she was a friend of a relative, or actually, I think she was a relative. But anyway, she lived in this like hoarder trailer thing, and well, recently got pretty cold, like earlier in the year, and she froze to death there. And we didn't know for a while until he was told this, and he told me, and I'm like, oh crap. And this is like, I'm guessing January, February, still in the winter months, but I'm going, okay, you lived in a hoarder's trailer, it's cold as butt, and no matter what, you still froze to death there? Jeez. I felt sorry for her because she didn't have the heat on, she had one of those thick blankets, but even so, turn your gosh dang heater on.
I'm actually looking at a website for Haynesville Woods, and apparently it's the woods itself that's haunted.
Like the Akagahara forest over in Japan.
Kinda, but not as dramatic.
Yeah, over there it's more controversial, while over here it's not really.
Yeah, over here it's just the woods, man. It's weird.
Well, woodland places are beautiful and full of mystery, but yeesh! Sometimes it doesn't really pay to walk in there because you never know what you're gonna find. Either you're gonna find deer and rabbits and plants and stuff, and next minute you might find either a dead body or random car accident or whatever.
You're either gonna find cute little woodland creatures and become Snow White, or you're gonna frickin' see horrifying occurrences, or even abandoned places that aren't even marked on.
Just this is why I'm not a camping person.
Oh, I love camping. I've done it since I was a baby. I have 2 camps, so one in town and one way up in the mountains. And,
Yeah.
yeah, so up to camp, that's what we call it. We live in the mountains, so it's pretty much like you've got a lot of black flies, you got a lot of bugs. It's a whole fun thing if you don't have bug spray. There's a lot of ancient and old cemeteries, old cellar holes where houses used to be. There's even an old house up there that is still standing after like over 200 years. Though I think it's probably going to come down any time now because the chimney is pretty much about to collapse.
Yeesh.
Apparently that place is, it's linked. What are you doing?
Sorry, I was tapping the sides of my screen with my nails.
I was so confused. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you cutting something? Are you doing some filleting?
No, that was...
Anywho, like I've seen the inside of that place and it's pretty much just trash. But there's nearby, not too far, is an abandoned cemetery actually that I think used to work with the town back when the town was really small. This was back in like the 1800s, 1700s-ish. And all the graves are like all broken and stuff because it's all overgrown and the place is completely abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
It's very... I mean, those 2 places have a very eerie energy, even though I try to just, like, try to shake it off, but just... It's scary, but it's intriguing.
Right. That's just crazy.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of haunted places up in New England.
And there's quite a few crazy, weird things that happen here in good old Paducah. Just, they don't really like show themselves much, but the weirdest thing is whenever I go shopping, I actually stumble upon what looks to be an actual human, but is actually someone that's taken on like human form, and they were just wandered around town and walked into the same shop I did, or they're just here to annoy the ever-loving crap out of me.
Taking human form? Like what? Like some sort of weird animal spirit? Or...
No. It's more like they have unfinished business here on Earth, and they can take on a secondary like form where they can only be viewed by those with an open third eye.
Like witches and whatnot, or people who are actively...
Yeah.
So do you think we could take some questions? I'm kind of looking in the chat, and apparently we got a bit of a crowd here.
Not really. I mean, it's, on my end, we got 0. On your end, I don't know.
On my end, we got like 4 people.
Well, then, let's go take...
Hello, hi.
Let's take some questions, then.
Or we can talk more about, you know, oddities in Maine and Kentucky.
Well, we'll just go ahead and take some questions from your end, and we'll end it off, because it's about going on an hour right now, and...
Oh yeah, we were really happy.
So, let's go ahead and finish off with some questions, and then we'll end off the podcast.
Alrighty.
And no one's talking on my end.
I just sent out any questions, and I have no idea if they're just listening in or if they are waiting. I mean, you can write in a chat, you can yell. I don't think we could hear you, but you could try yelling.
Wouldn't it be funny if Twitch would let us do stuff like Discord, and we get like random questions coming in, like an audio question coming from Twitch instead of Discord?
Just audio questions being yelled at us, like, "What's the weirdest spirit you've met?"
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Now, I don't know if that was an actual question. The weirdest spirit I would ever have met, I would actually say was a long time ago when I was over on the south side of Paducah. And there was this place I used to go to for every now and again whenever we had a little extra money, called Country Castle, which is like a local barbecue place that serves burgers and nachos and all that good stuff. And a while back, there was this one seat that always sit in the front, and there would be this back area, this little catty corner, kind of mysterious little back area where, like, curved seat, little bar light above the table, and I would see just most random people sit there, and they weren't even, regular customers. It would just be some random spirit that would just float on in, sit down, and just stare off in the distance, like, just watching the world go by. And then I'd blink, and it'd be gone. Be like, okay, what the hell just happened?
Sounds like he was kind of depressed. He couldn't have any good food because, gosh dang.
Girl, if you ever come down here, we're going to go to Country Castle because they have pretty damn good food.
Oh, I'm dead. I can't have Country Castle food. Oh, I'm just gonna sit here and mope.
Well, on occasion, I'd see the spirit with like a beer in his hand, but then the beer would be either gone or it'd be untouched.
Oh, I can't drink my beer. Oh. It probably does suck because you can't eat good food. Well, I mean, like, Mrs. Jordan and Mickey D's is probably like, God damn it, I was gonna get a Big Mac.
Oh. I think it's kind of funny, a spirit drinking spirits.
Talk about consumerism.
I don't.
Hey!
Oh, well, that's going to do it for today's episode of the Witching Hour. Next time, I don't know what our topic will be. We'll figure something out. It'll be in the title box. So, any last words before I end off the stream?
You can follow us on our Twitters. Mine is on our Twitters. I'm an old. My Twitter is at Northeastartist or the Majestic Klutz on Twitter. You can follow us there, or you can follow Nekora at WitchAngelNekora. I also have a Tumblr, which I'm more active on because I'm a Tumblr bug.
And for those of y'all on my channel, I actually have both mine and North's YouTube and our Twitter handles on the on screen here. And I will probably link her Discord, her Tumblr in the description box below, along with the stream link to my Twitch and everything. That way, if you want to keep updated on when we're going to do the next witching hour, keep up with our shenanigans, whatever, just go follow us on Twitter.
I'll try to do more speed paint soon, don't worry.
And I'm still working on Pokemon Solar Light, Lunar Dark, and all that, getting ready for OMG Con. So
I'm also accepting commission.
Yes, she is accepting commissions, and by the way, she is the one who created this amazing artwork to see on screen. I went ahead and put the text on it, but she is the one who made the beautiful artwork. She's done the artwork for my channel for a long time, and she is an amazing artist. Go give her some commissions. Go give her some love. She is awesome.
Maine sucks at having our company, so please help support me.
Please support your local artist witch.
I'm poor, I only eat dirt.
No.
And whatever my mama cooks me.
And she also takes iced coffee.
Give me anything, I will be happy.
And also, she accepts anything Sims related.
Hey.
Well, it's true. If you had a plumb bob headband, you'd be walking around your room with it.
Yeah, okay, next time I see you, I'll say Sul Sul.
Is that how you say hello in Simlish?
Yeah, actually, they have a whole thing, I think they have a whole thing written out. Otherwise, how else do you get the voice actors to be speaking?
I don't...
They look like friggin' knuckleheads in their rooms being like, yeah, Sul Sul.
I don't know, because in Sims 2, Paramore actually did a Simlish version of one of their songs.
I mean, honestly, if I could talk to a sim guru, I'd ask now.
I actually think that's what we're going to do for our next episode, is like talk about the games we do and any kind of weird buggy glitches that we found. Like that one time we found that weird glitch with a woman's head cocked to the side, and you sent it out to me on Twitter and went, you see this outside downtown Paducah at night, what do you do?
That actually wasn't a glitch. That was a part of the game itself.
Well, still, it was freaky as hell.
Tell that to the sim gurus.
Tell that to Maxis, the creator of the Sims. Holy crap.
I mean, honestly, it's a cool game, though. I mean, that's a whole other kettle we could get into, honestly.
Yeah, so I think next time we're going to just talk about the weird glitches we found in our games and how it could be linked to different weird paranoias, not paranoias, like weird witchy coincidences we've had. Like, you know, weird glitches we found in like The Sims or Pokemon or whatever, and kind of compare it to things we've seen in real life happening.
Weird moments that we've all had.
Yeah, like the one time I was playing WWE Day of Reckoning 2, I was in the middle of a First Blood match against Randy Orton, and when I hit my character hit the opponent with the chair, he rolled under the ring and was never seen again.
She's going to sleep.
Well, as I said, we're gonna get on out of here. Follow us on Twitter for any updates on the Witching Hour. And
or any other shenanigans.
Exactly. And I will be back probably Saturday to do Moimon Part 4. So, stay magical, y'all.
The good one.
Hey. Can you hear me?
I hear ya.
Oh my god, that's loud. It's not your fault I got my headphones in this time. I gotta turn down my volume. Oh, that actually hurt my ears a little bit.
I can't help if I'm loud. I come from two very loud families.
I know, it's okay. It's okay, honey. Just let me turn down my volume a bit on my side. Holy crap. Alright, this
I
is...
didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Good God, it's calm down. Okay, this is actually gonna be part of the blooper reel I'm adding to the end of the podcast.
Blooper reel.
What?
Blooper reel.
Yes. I love doing blooper reels. I actually did a blooper reel on one of my Pokemon videos a long while back, I think. I can't remember if I did actually, but I have like a whole bunch of leftover crap that didn't make it to an actual video.
I feel like my life is a blooper reel, honestly.
I feel like that all the damn time. Oh, okay. Okay, I think we're... Nope. Sorry. I just... Oh! Once I get tickled, it takes a while for me to calm down.
You're a giggly girl today, aren't ya?
Just like Mark, he's usually a giggly bitch.
Well, that's Mark. And when he giggles, it's adorable. I'm sorry, it's adorable.
God damn it!
I was talking about Mark!
Oh yeah. Oh, by the way, my new day off video popped up on YouTube. It's Melvin again, by the way.
Awesome, I love that little guy.
We'll probably talk about him here in a little while, once we officially start, because he barks at random crap, like spirits and stuff. Because dogs and cats have like a weird third eye, like humans do. So.
I was going to say, I mean, he's an old dog. It's basically the equivalent of get off my lawn.
Alright. Okay, I think we're ready. Hold on a moment. Okay, we're ready.
People we got in the chat this time, or are we still warming up?
Okay, we're good. I'm ready for the intro now. Hold on.
Well, first of all, calm your tits.
My tits are already calm. I'm just in a good mood now.
Well, that's glorious.
Okay. Calm yourself, Cora. Alright.
Come on, everyone.
Oh, that was bonkers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay. That actually hurts doing that. Damn it, that hurts. I was stretching, and I was trying to pop my back, but all of a sudden I almost pulled a muscle in my shoulders.
Not an oyster?
I said shoulders, not an oyster.
You said pull a muscle.
Ah! Mollusk puns. They hurt.
Listen, I grew up in Maine. You're gonna have to deal with it.
More like I'll clam up.
Don't be so sheltered.